Well, this is a Mosin-Nagant, what is commonly referred to as a 9130 Mosin-Nagant. And you can pick one of these up for under $150 most of the time. And it shoots the 7.62x54R cartridge. It's a fired case right there. This is a typical bolt-action rifle. As far as the operating goes, you simply raise the lever, pull it back, and then if it doesn't have any cartridges in it, load it through the top here, up to 5 cartridges in here. And then to begin feeding, you push it forward and just turn it closed, pull the trigger and it fires. And this is the original stock that it came in.
That would be the original military configuration.
Yep. With a 2-piece stock. It's got the main body here and running underneath. And up here it has the secondary piece that these clips hold on. Now we've already taken off the frontmost clip, which would go here. So when you are going to put on a new stock or we're taking it apart, those are the first things that you're going to take off are these clips. So let's go ahead and take off this last clip. There we go.
There we go. Alright, and just slide that off the end. You might take the cleaning rod out as well.
Yeah. Alright, and with these off, these clips off, we can then remove this top secondary piece from the gun. Alright, so then we should take out the cleaning rod, which comes with it. It screws into the stock. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take the action and the magazine and trigger guard off of this stock.
There's 2 screws. There's a screw on top here, and then underneath here you've got another screw, and this is the magazine.
Right, to take this out, you simply get a flathead screwdriver, and you just go ahead and unscrew these. Now, to take off the bolt assembly, you simply pull the trigger and then slide it backwards until it comes out. And it's very simple. Then we undo the second screw back here.
Now, with that done,
we can take out the trigger guard and magazine assembly, and we can take out the main portion of the gun here. This includes your barrel, your breech, you've got your loading port, and you got the trigger. Be careful with these because the trigger pin will fall out. There's nothing screwed in holding it in there. So make sure to keep track of it. This is an aftermarket stock. It's polymer. Now, this also has a shell holder where you can stick your rounds in on this side. Alright, so what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to slide this lower piece in here, the trigger guard and the magazine assembly. Now, you'll notice that it doesn't want to go in. So what you're going to want to do is maybe grab a file, like this one here, and try and get some of these edges a little bit lower. Alright, so we have just filed down our stock a little bit. Where I was sanding was on these inside edges right up here. It was grabbing on to the magazine on these edges right here. So when you don't want it to squeeze this too bad, it is only stamped metal. So if it is too tight, you just go ahead and sand that or file that down, whichever way you prefer. So, and then you don't want to do a lot at a time just in case it's not that tight. So you don't want to end up making it too loose.
But if it is too tight, it can bind up so you can't load your magazine. Yep. So you're basically down to a single shot. So that's why you want to make sure it's not squeezing it too tight also.
Alright, so with the filing done, we can go ahead and slide this piece in. Now, to be a little snug is not bad, but to be where you have to pound it to get it in, that's not good. So this is good. I just slid that in there without too much problem, but it does hold it in there. Alright, so let's have the upper part. Alright, let's go ahead and stick that down in there.
So this is what it looks like before you put it in the stock. In order to set this down in there, if you look through the top of the stock, there's a slot, and that's where your trigger is going to go. So really, you just
line up the hole, and you go ahead and set it down in there. And then you want to attach your screws. The taller one goes in the back, and this one this hole right here. The shorter one goes in the front right here.
Which we'll show that one here in just a second after we get this one screwed in. Now,
Flip it over, put in the other screw. You don't want to tighten these down too much, but as long as they're pretty tight and snug, you should be fine. Alright, so this magazine has a detachable floor plate. You can see the latch right under my finger right there. So, if you get something stuck down in the mag well, say you're shooting, you leave the bolt open, which isn't good to do. But if that happens and something falls down in there and that you don't want in there, you can just undo the latch here. And then this will rotate out. But if you push these together, they make a little clasp that will hold it in there, so you can take the entire spring assembly out as well as the floor plate.
and if you do that, you can see it's open all the way through.
You can see straight through here in the mag well.
So if there's something stuck in there, it's easy to get out.
Now to reattach it, simply squeeze this down to where it opens. And there's a small bar in here that, if you can see, is kind of adjacent with these two pieces on either side. So to get it back in there, just compress the spring assembly, hook it in there, and then just rotate it back down and clasp it closed. Alright, the only thing left to do now is to put the bolt back in. Now, just like taking the bolt out, it is extremely simple. All you have to do is pull the trigger and slide in the bolt. Now, if you see, if I don't pull the trigger, I can't slide it out. But if I pull the trigger, it comes right out. Alright, and to close it, you simply do that. You just close the bolt. If there's a spring charge on it, you don't want to leave it in there. So right now, as it is, whenever you flip this up, it cocks it. So if you want to remove the fact that it's cocked, rotate it up almost all the way. It'll catch right here. It'll catch there. And then what you want to do is you can pull the trigger, and the force of the spring coming forward will rotate the bolt down, and it won't harm anything.
So now understand, every time you do something that requires pulling the trigger,
make sure there is no round in it. That is essential.
Even if you think you know it's empty, check and make sure it's empty. Because if it's not, then there's going to be a really loud noise and really bad things happen. So, now we've gone from the Russian military to modern American. Now,
scopes do require probably going to a gunsmith and having them drill and tap this portion right here. Yeah. So if you do want to mount a scope on that, it is not scope ready as it is, unless you buy a variant that had some holes in here already drilled. This right here is the rear sight. Now I really like the rear sight on this, and there are a couple of reasons why. With this, you can see this button on the side. There's another one like it on the other side. If you squeeze them together, you can slide it forward, and there are numbers on here that mark it in hundreds of meters. You probably can't see them, but there are notches in here that mark out hundreds of meters. So, if you have it set at 5, that's for 500 meters. If you have it set at 10, that's for 1,000 meters.
And you might be thinking 1,000 meters is kind of ambitious, but you know, this rifle and cartridge might be well over 100 years old, but it is every bit as powerful as our modern sporting cartridges.
It falls somewhere between a 30-06 and a 308.
And leans more toward the 30-06.
More toward the 30-06 by all means.
So, as you'll be getting ready to see in the video, we're going to kind of show you what this thing will do. God bless you all. Thank you very much for watching.